Well, it's almost Christmas time, and one of the most common questions that I hear at the local electronics retailer is, what's the best phone for my parents? Or what's the best phone for my kids? Even my grandparents. What's the best phone under $300? I want the best phone, but I don't want to spend the money. Well, I did a bit of digging around and I found this little guy. This is the Samsung Galaxy J5 Pro. This thing has awesome features for the price. It's enough to satisfy anybody. Children can play any game they want with its octa-core processor, 3 gigs of RAM and 32 gig storage. Parents can take selfies every day and night because it has a built-in LED flashlight at the front and a great 13 megapixel camera. And also grandparents will be very happy with the crystal clear call quality and the loudness of the earpiece. They will have no more excuses to say, "I did not hear you, love." So this phone has a bit of everything for everybody. Let's take a closer look. What I find intriguing about this phone is the close resemblance it has with the Samsung Galaxy S7. The S7 is still a pretty capable device even in 2018, and it was only a flagship a couple of years ago. That was worth over $1,000. This is only $300, if not less. Some retailers you can pick this up for only $259, and in my opinion it even looks better and it's more sturdy than the Samsung Galaxy S7. It doesn't have that glass back like they do. But how did Samsung manage to pull off a device that closely resembles an S7 but only costs a third of the price? Well, they had to skimp on some hardware levels, but not the software levels, which is more important. The hardware levels basically comes down to things that you probably don't use on a regular basis. There is no wireless charging. There is no optical image stabilization in the camera. There is no always-on display. There is no notification LED light, and there is no light behind the capacitive keys. In my opinion, that's probably even better because it doesn't waste the battery as much. One thing I really love though is there is no Bixby. I consider that to be a feature these days. And last but not least, it only has a micro USB port, which a lot of people now have moved on onto the USB Type-C. And it does not have the fast charging that Samsung is well known for. However, in my test, the battery charged from 0 to 100% only in an hour and a half, which is still not bad. I mean, for $300 you can't really expect the world, but it's a really quite capable phone. Let's take a look at some of the settings and the software features inside and see what this phone has to offer. Okay, so I'm now recording the screen of the actual phone and I'm using the built-in microphone, so this will give you a clear indication of how the microphone sounds like when you're actually talking to other people. Right off the bat I can see on the top that this supports VO LTE, which is not very common in many phones under $300. For those of you that don't know, this simply means that you can make voice calls over 4G. Let's dig a little deeper and check out the settings and see what else this phone has. Okay, the first one on the list is connections. The Wi-Fi is pretty common in many devices, but this is intriguing. This phone has Wi-Fi calling. Not many phones under $300 have Wi-Fi calling, so this is a welcome change. Bluetooth, data usage, flight mode, that's pretty common, but look, this also has NFC. So you can use your phone to pay at contactless payments across the country with Samsung Pay or even Google Pay. That's a nice feature to have for under $300. Mobile networks location, okay, well that's a feature that most phones have. Let's go back and go down to sound. Okay, these features are pretty common in many phones. However, one thing I find intriguing about this is the sound quality and effects. This phone has its own equalizer, so if you take this phone on the train and listen to music, you'll be able to adjust the equalizer accordingly to the way you like it. You can either dial the bass and treble and the instrument and vocal dials, or go into the advanced settings and adjust the equalizer exactly the way you want it. This is a very welcome change, and it also affects the earpiece quality when you're talking to people, so you can dial this all the way up and make it extremely loud for those people that can't hear properly. Let's go back and see what else we can see. Display. Okay, this is where we can adjust our brightness, but with the latest feature we can also have automatic brightness and a feature that you don't often see, a blue light filter. Very handy when you're watching your phone in the dark. Of course, all the other Samsung features are there, like font and screen zoom, screen mode. You can either have adaptive display, AMOLED cinema, photo, basic. I'm not sure if this will show up on the recording, but they're there. Wallpapers and themes, another welcome feature. You can change the theme and the looks of this phone. You can download more wallpapers, icons and themes from the Samsung store. Something that's not very common in many other devices under $300. Advanced features. Another welcome change is the game launcher. You can download all your games and either have them in one convenient location or switch it off. One-handed mode, that's a welcome change as well for those of you that have short fingers and can't reach the top of the screen. Multi-window, direct call, I like to have that switched off. Smart alert, and all this stuff you can possibly have a read in the instruction manual. Biometrics and security. You can register the fingerprint scanner, so that way you have that extra security for your home button and also for contactless payments. And all the rest of the stuff is pretty much straightforward. Let's take a look at the software version of this phone. As you can see, this is running the latest Android 8.1, so it is well up to date with the current operating system. Nice. But recently my wife and I went to Oliver Brown's to test the camera indoors. This is where you can really test the camera under the restaurant lights. Some of the photos turned out just a little bit blurry, but this is due to the lack of optical image stabilization. So you do really need to have a steady hand, or possibly even use the flashlight. I have found that the selfie camera is identical to the rear camera, as they're both 13 megapixel, so although it does take decent shots, you can expect a tiny bit of blurriness, especially if you're not steady enough. This is a selfie with the front LED light on. Probably didn't make too much of a difference indoors. And now I'll be taking a selfie focus where it gives it that bokeh effect with the blurred background. Still not a deal breaker though. And for those of you out there who like to play games on their mobile phones, this phone is more than capable of playing everyday modern games without a hiccup, although some of them may need to be lowered in resolution. Apart from that, for $300 this thing is a great buy. Perfect for a Christmas present. And as I said, anybody can benefit from this, from children to oldies. Thanks for watching. Till next time.